Tucker's going to say something about it, you know.
I do have a couple of comments. I have a couple of people that have asked me if I would say something nice about them. One is my wife, Mary. She's back there someplace. She asked me if I would say that she's wonderful. So my wife, Mary, is wonderful. So, I got that right. The other person, oddly enough, that asked me if I would say something nice about him is Jim Litton. You know, Jim's up here every year, President's Club dinners, all these various things, and he's always saying nice things about everybody. And nobody ever says anything nice about Jim. And Jim handed me 3 pages of handwritten notes. And Jim, I'm sorry, you're going to have to wait another year. I can't read your writing. But I did notice that the term awesome was underlined 17 times. You must be referring to your divorce attorney, or you can't be in short. She's still smiling like. Anyway, my 2 sons, Sam and Joe, I think are back there, and I'm very, very fortunate to have such a wonderful family, 5 grandchildren, and they're all smart, they're all beautiful, and they're all great. A couple of people that I would like to mention. Joe Bowman was one of the 4 partners that owned the company when I joined FC Tucker. It was Wallace, Hauk, Bud Tucker, and Joe Bowman. And Joe was, his charge was the residential division. And Joe was just a great guy. I mean, he was involved in everything. Back then, we used to, some of you remember this, we would rent Greyhound buses. And we had these big banners we put on the side for our tours, and we would leave at 8:30 in the morning. 12 o'clock, we would stop at McDonald's, everybody get something to eat, and then we get back on tour, and we'd get in about 2:30, 3 o'clock. Can you remember that? And that's just the only way you knew about the inventory. I mean, it just was far different back then. But Joe was a great guy. For him, the whole company was one big family, whether you were a staff person, a brand new sales associate, or one of the top producers. I'm very sorry that all of you didn't have a chance to know Joe and to work with Joe. Next, Gary Wursler. Gary retired, what, 3 years ago? 7 years ago. Wow. Holy smoke. But a lot of us owe an awful lot to Gary Wursler. In the 80s and the 90s, Gary's charge was to expand the offices. Many of the new offices that we have were responsibility of Gary. Almost every one of the major advertising programs we got involved with was Gary's responsibility. He was always messing with the sign. He was a great advocate for all the sales associates, for all the manager, and for all the staff. He was a very large part of the Tucker Company. We all owe Gary a great deal. My partner for 25 years, Dave Wilcox. Many of you in the room will know Dave. He is, in my opinion, he's probably one of the better real estate minds in the state of Indiana. He's also one of the funniest guys that you'd ever come across. In 1995, David was asked to give the residential report for state of real estate. And Jim, if you remember that, during that talk, he had calculated that the average home in the state of Indiana sold for $3.10 a pound. And I know a lot of you don't sell by the pound, but you need to get with it. This was picked up, by the way, by ABC, NBC, the Journal. I mean, the next day, they were all talking about in the state of Indiana what the average house cost per pound. He's just a marvelous, marvelous, marvelous person. I've got to mention my partner, Craig Fletchall. He's the anchor of our office. He's a great guy. He's a wonderful coach. He's just a beautiful human being, and I'm very, very lucky to have Craig as a partner, that's for sure. one thing about our office, we've been very fortunate to be quite successful over the past 20 years. And it's our sales associates and our staff. Our staff is just incredible. They're there every day taking care of us. They're the oil that makes everything run. And our sales associates, quite frankly, they could be involved probably in any industry, and I'm sure they'd be leading that industry for the state of Indiana, probably for the Midwest. Last year we closed $449 million, and I'm quite proud of that. So I appreciate if you give the Meridian North office a hand clap. Now, I'll just wrap this up real quick, but I want to comment about 2015. I hope you're feeling the same as I do. I'm very, very excited about 2015. I think it's going to be our best year ever. I think, Jim, you read that nationally they're forecasting for an 8% increase in sales, and I think you and I are convinced it's going to be more like about 12 or 15%. If you just look at some of the things that recent news, unemployment rate of 5.7 in January, 257,000 jobs created in the month of January. We got more businesses making more money than ever before. These low interest rates are here. Ron's going to guarantee that for 215, 216. They're talking about new home sales being up 29% in 2015. And the consumer confidence is higher and higher. I mean, we're in for a really, really good time. But it's not just going to happen. You're going to have to go. You're going to have to go after it. I'm sitting at the table here with Jeff Ward, and I can tell you that in every office, all the top producers, they have two things that, at least they have two things that are in common. One, they work harder than the rest of us. They really, really do. And the second thing is, they have more buyers and sellers than the rest of us. And most of those buyers and sellers come from their list of contacts. So I would strongly, strongly urge all of you to join organizations, get more involved in your community, your church, wherever it might be. I ran for somebody just a couple of days ago in Indianapolis. If you pull up Indianapolis Volunteers, there's 670 organizations in Indianapolis right now looking for volunteers, for people to get involved, serve on a board, do something there. I mean, it is there. So thanks to all of you. Thanks to all of you at Meridian North for putting up with me all these years. And thank you, Jim.
I was going to give you an economic update, and I had it printed here. I'm trying to read my notes, so I really don't have any. I would totally concur with what Tucker's saying. I don't see any dark clouds on the horizon that could affect this year. If you look back just at the month of January, you listed 47% more listings in January 2015 than you did in 2014. 47%, that's a big number, folks. And I think our market dominance is continuing, our market share is growing, and I only see things getting better. I think the next few years are going to be the greatest residential real estate years in the history of the country. There's just no doubt in my mind. And I think as a company, we are very well positioned for it. We're going to continue to grow. We're not going to back off. We're not going to slow down. It would be real easy coming off the years that we have off of 13 to 14 to take our foot off the gas. It really would. And rest on our laurels. But we're not going to do it. We owe you more than that. We owe our clients more than that. And we're going to continue to grow and push and grow and push and grow.